Avengers Endgame wasn't just big, it was a generational event the likes we may never see again. In just the first weekend, it's brought in a staggering $1.2 billion worldwide, doubling the second best opening and outgrossing every DC movie ever made. And that's just in the first 3 days. We've already taken a look at the endings in the arcade version of Marvel's Superheroes. But what about Capcom's other adaptation of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline? Turn back now if you don't want to know what happens next, because today we're going to spoil the story and ending for Marvel's Superheroes in War of the Gems on the Super NES. This is Game Over, the early years. Adam Warlock is understandably concerned. He knows that there are 6 Infinity Gems plummeting to Earth and fears that whoever collects them will become the undisputed ruler of the universe. He's entrusted Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wolverine to race around the globe and try to find the treasure before it falls into the wrong hands. In other words, it's a mad world with jewelry. So as luck would have it, Adam's supercomputer knows where most of the gems have landed. This allows us to tackle the levels in any order, and with the Avenger of our choice. We see Iron Man taking on a flooded aquarium in Boston, and then there's the Hulk freezing his big green ass off in Alaska. He also fights an evil Sasquatch in a spike-filled cave. That's the same Sasquatch that made his debut in Uncanny X-Men number 120, which, wouldn't you know it, celebrates its 40th birthday this month. Anyway, while Iron Man and Hulk are off weathering the climates, Captain America is busy searching Doctor Doom's castle in Latveria. It ends up being a maze filled with unexpected surprises and cameos, followed by a one-on-one fight against the Doctor himself. We win, but Doom escapes, but not before dropping the first Infinity Gem. Now, across the world, Spider-Man is in hot pursuit of the second Infinity Gem in the Amazon. It's here where we run into an evil Wolverine, who doesn't seem all that interested in handing over the valuable stone. We kick his ass and take it, leading the Avengers to an important discovery. Apparently, the enemy's name is Magus, and he's been gathering up the gems using this huge orbiting battleship. This is a job for Iron Man, who infiltrates the base, beats up the dude's computer, and then tries to fight Magus while everything is being sucked out into space. After the fight, the Avengers make a nasty discovery. Yes, Magus was searching for the gems, but he'd only found one of them. Worse yet, there's a second player, a purple dude that kinda looks like Josh Brolin, who has his sights set on collecting all of them. His name is Thanos, and he sends a dire warning to the superheroes. Unimpressed, Spider-Man fights through Egypt, and Doctor Strange helps Iron Man get across a lava pit and fight the Silver Surfer in Mount Vesuvius. Hey, why does Iron Man need a floating platform? Can't he just fly? Anyway, he survives all that nonsense and makes it to an Arizona mining complex, where he ends up going up against an evil daredevil. This nets him a gem and the location to the next point of interest, an asteroid belt that just so happens to be the hideout for Doctor Doom. That's right, it's time for a rematch, but don't worry, he's kind of a pushover. The real battle comes a few minutes later when Blackheart shows up. He drops the 5th Infinity Gem, but don't think it's time to celebrate, because Nebula shows up to take back the stones. It's at this point where Marvel Superheroes goes from being a middling beat-em-up to just being a kinda crappy one-on-one fighting game. We defeat Nebula, but Thanos isn't impressed. He monologues for a while and then uses fire and stone to fight our heroes. It's a tough battle, but we eventually win, and here's what happens next. Although the story is a lot more interesting in this console game, the ending's pretty lame. I suppose that none of the cinemas are very good, so it's not exactly a surprise, but I was still hoping for something more. A lot of this is just a wall of text and images of space. Boring. Between this and the arcade fighting game, I feel like Capcom has really dropped the ball with this license. There's so many interesting and super cool things they could have done with the Infinity Gems, and yet they squandered every opportunity they were given. Oh well, at least they bothered to get Thanos' dialogue right. That's more than I can say about the arcade version. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Game Over, the early years. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we post new episodes every week. Now here's the question I have for you. What's your favorite superhero video game? Doesn't have to be something by Marvel or even based on a comic book. So use your imagination and let me see your picks in the comments below. In other news, I'm hard at work on a bunch of reviews, so look for those to go live later this week. Also, if you haven't seen our Game Over episode about the arcade version of Marvel superheroes, then I've left a link somewhere on the screen. In the meantime, I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then,